Spoiler alert, you guys. I don't mean to burst your bubbles or break your hearts, but everything around you is just part of a sharkulation. And even David Bowie himself knew it. He sang about it many times in many songs. He was like, Shark Americans, we want the Shark Americans. Yeah, he knew, you guys, that there was something weird going on. Now, 1974, the album Diamond Dogs is released, and Clark the Shark, I really love that album. I don't see or know how so-called critics or anyone or so-called fans don't like that album. They're probably too busy listening to Let's Dance or Tonight or, God only knows what. But all the early David Bowie is incredible, you guys. I'm not even going to joke around here. You don't dare say any Bowie is even remotely bad or mediocre or any of that. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show from the fabulous golden EIB Sharkraphone. It's not a microphone, you guys. It's a Sharkraphone, because when I'm talking about David Bowie, Young Americans, 1975, early 1975. Now, if you want to say an album is bad or mediocre or it has problems, it's problematic, it might be this one and only, just this one. Although me, Clark the Shark, I really like this album. I don't know how they're saying that about Diamond Dogs, because in some weird, twisted way, actually in many ways, David Bowie becomes the real David Bowie that we would eventually all know. He becomes that on Diamond Dogs. Before that, on Pinups and Aladdin Sane and, Ziggy Stardust and all that, he was something else, you guys. It was incredible. It was melodic, atmospheric, killer music. It was great. But David Bowie becomes the Thin White Duke of Low, Heroes, Lodger, all that. Scary Monsters. That is really all born on David Bowie 1974 Diamond Dogs album, that so many critics and fans are like, oh, there's something wrong with it. There's something wrong with you. You didn't fucking listen to the album or something. I don't know. But this album, Young Americans, is a complete and total departure away from all things David Bowie that we knew before. And this album is a bit of an anomaly, aberration, because it really only happens once. And that is on this album, where Bowie goes all soulful. I mean, there's little nuances of it on Station to Station, 1976. And, you hear little bits of it moving forward with the Berlin Trilogy. But really, you guys, if you want to talk about Bowie getting soulful, so soulful that, Bootsy Collins, and Funkadelic and all these people were making fun of Bowie or they were mad at him or something, like, how dare he think he's soulful, this white boy, this blue-eyed soul. And then, there's also the problem that before this album, Bowie was never really soulful per se, and certainly not like this, but he wasn't like Sam and Dave or any, he wasn't soulful, you guys. I mean, his music is soulful and good, in terms of quality and his unique voice and all that, he had soul, if you want to call it that. You could say Ziggy Stardust has soul, or Hunky Dory has soul, or The Man Who Sold the World has soul, but you break them down and they're rock and roll albums. And I would include Diamond Dogs 1974 with that, although it is kind of a departure too, very much from the Bowie before it. But then this album here, not much long after Diamond Dogs, this sounds nothing like that album, you guys. There is true, bona fide soul music here all over this album. And that being said, it's very much a rock, rock, pop, rock and roll album. It's a David Bowie album, you guys. When I think David Bowie albums, this one, Young Americans 1975, doesn't come rocketing, as just, oh God, it's a great David Bowie album. I love it. You got to own it. I do want you guys to buy this album tonight at Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, or anywhere online they sell music, even Napster, if it's still around. I think it is. Or wherever, Ripple Tunes. Gosh, there's lots of places you can buy music. I know that the money goes right into the fat cats that live up in Holmby Hills, near Owlwood, where Sonny and Cher once lived, and Tony Curtis and Marilyn Monroe, and me, yours truly, the man who didn't just sell the world, but the man, the one, Nero, Morpheus, me, Clark the Shark. I stayed at Owlwood, you guys. I'm going to keep focus here. I know that I keep getting emails where you guys are like, Shark, you need to take Zoloft. It will help you focus. Or you need to snort Wellbutrin or Wellbutrin. I don't know how to pronounce it, you guys, but I'm not snorting it. And you guys are like, take focus factor vitamins, Shark, you can focus. And I'm like, no way, bro. Focus is the enemy. For me, Clark the Shark, I like mixed up scrambled pizza, cornucopia, just a mishmash of a collage. That's how I am on the Clark the Shark show. The Shark-a-doodle-doo, baby. The Shark-a-llama-ding-dong has to keep it real, the real way for a Sharky. If I get all focused and organized, I'm going to start sounding like Sean Hannity. And you guys don't want that. Or I might sound like Anderson Pooper, you guys. And I don't, dude, Anderson Pooper, something sounds wrong with him, like he's not healthy or something. And, dude, you know what they say, bro, in the Bible, like, I'm not going to go there, you guys. I'm going to keep it a family show. But, yeah, there's certain, dude, yeah, dude, you guys, you should, if you're an atheist or something, or, your liberal parents from the 90s raised you, and now you have no direction, no morals, no values, no compass. You're just twisting in the wind in America. You don't know your meaning. Well, even you are invented and controlled and in every way completely designed by me, Clark the Shark. For I am a rebel and a runner and a young boy bearing arms. And I got a problem with my poison, but I know I'll find the cure. Shark's cleaning up his system to keep his nature pure. Nah, I'm just kidding, you guys. Young Americans, Bowie, though. This album wasn't kidding around. This is soulful, bluesy. And yet, that being said, it was very, very much David Bowie. It was, you guys. on many levels, it's a typical David Bowie album. But then again, no, because I know it should get good stars, you guys. I don't think it'll get fives. I'm predicting it's going to get 4 stars. Let's see, you guys. It's going to have a long, thing. Luther Vandross. Yeah, man. Now he really, like I said a moment ago, you guys. Oh, Ron Nasty was also on this, you guys. Look at Ron. He's like, do you want the Beatles to get back together? The interviewer's like, so, Paul, are you getting back with me, Paul? Paul. I was the leader, Look at John. I remember this interview, you guys. Someone's like, are the Beatles getting back together? When I was a little kid in the South Bay, Redondo, Torrance, all I heard my whole life from 1971 till 1978 was the Beatles are back. The Beatles are back. It's like Paul Revere, you guys. And then John Lennon got shot, dude, by Mark David Chapman. Very sad. It was over just like that. They did get back together eventually, in 1995 or whatever, for that thing. But I don't know. That kind of sucked. Dirk McQuickley. Ava Cherry. Yeah. Dude, with Cher. Bowie was that Cher? Wow. They performed some songs like on Dinah Shore or one of those talk shows, you guys. Oh wow, look at that. I told you it wouldn't get 5s. It gets 4, 4.5. A lot of people think of this as the weak link Black Sheep album by Bowie. It really isn't, you guys. He doesn't have a weak album. But some people are like, well, this might be the first one that kind of falls from grace. I don't know, you guys. Now, of course, side 1, Young Americans, is an amazing song. I wish I could play it for you, but the liberals at YouTube will ban and delete my channel. They'll use that as the excuse to ban and delete my channel. But if you're a young person born in 2003 and you're 20 right now in 2023, I want you to buy this album, not for this hit song, Young Americans, but for all the other songs on the album, you guys. For everything in general, all in all, a brick in the wall. You buy this album if you're 19 and you were born in 2004. 3 years after 9/11, after those planes were flown by those terrorists into the World Trade Center, and both Twin Towers came down 3 years before you were even born. You don't even remember it. You've just heard about it. Like, you've heard the talk or the rumors, or you've seen it on the internet or on YouTube. Oh, dude, this could be why you don't believe in God, or you have no morals or no values or compass or values, baby. You got to believe in something. Like me, Clark the Shark, I believe that I control all of you and that all of you are secretly conspiring against me, but you're just robots. I'm the only human. But yeah, just like Neo or Nero, whatever his name was in the Matrix, I'm worried because when I look around me, all I see are codes. And I think I see you, all of you out there. You did spend a lot of time years ago, ripping me off, stealing my ideas, whatever. Keep doing it. I don't care. I'm just a young American, you guys. And I will be young and eternally youthful forever, unlike you. You will die at age 72 or something like that. And it's all because of me, Clark the Shark. I will see to it that you are gone. But I shall live forever because I am a young American. And they want me, baby. Young Americans, we want the shark American. They want the sharky American, baby. And the second song, Win, I really love this song. you guys. When is my favorite song on this album? I feel you driving and you're only the wheel. It's soulful. The lyrics are clever. Some people think like this doesn't make any sense, the words. It's really melodic, atmospheric. It's a great song. And Fascination, you guys all know that. It's kind of a David Bowie hit, co-written by Luther Vandross. Sure, it's funky, it's soulful. And then the song Right, killer. One of the best David Bowie songs. So as you can see, side one, this thing's a classic. I mean, it's shooting out of the cannon with power. It's a major ejaculation here. It's messy. It's going to take a bounty, not cleanup or Kleenex, to clean up this mess that Bowie has done here. It just shoots all over the place, you guys. Young Americans is killer, and Win is clever and awesome. And Fascination, basically a hit song, or could be a hit single by Bowie. I'm sure there is a shortened down version, because the version of Fascination on the album here is 5:43. I know they probably have a 3-minute version for the radio. I'm not sure of that, you guys. I'm just thinking that they do. And then the song Right, which is just a signature David Bowie melody, you guys. Do 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 do. Ah, love it. Love it. And some of these ideas are revisited on the very next album, Station to Station, where the funky soul thing continues a little bit, but Bowie also goes into this atmospheric electronic direction thing. Just this weird shit on the very next album, you guys. Very different from this album. And then, of course, the Berlin trilogy, Low, Heroes, and all that, where Bowie just gets awesome. But some people, they're not sure. They're like, and Iggy Pop the Idiot, which is basically like pretty much a David Bowie album. Lust for Life also, definitely could have been. There's some ideas on there that could have been great Bowie ideas, but he kind of lent them or just gave them to Iggy, who was getting away from that rough, hard-rocking punk rock, trying to be David Bowie. I don't know why. I never like it when Lou Reed and Iggy Pop decide, well, we want to be David Bowie so badly. Let's become David Bowie and have him not just produce, but write all of our songs and arrange them, mix them. I don't like that. And then again, a part of me does like that, you guys. But side two, Somebody Up There Likes Me. I always thought this song at 6 minutes, 30 seconds just has too much. It could have and should have been shortened down, to a 4-minute or less song. Verse, chorus, solo, verse, chorus, something like that. This song gets all messy and just falls apart, kind of like the Rolling Stones songs on, what's that album? Black and Blue. And, there's a few Rolling Stones albums like It's Only Rock and Roll and Black and Blue, where the Stones try to get adventurous and they lose their way or something. And the songs get all convoluted and, mixed up in a bad way. I think it begins on Goat's Head Soup, where they're trying to do too much. And I think that's why those 3 albums in a row, critics are, critical. Not so much me, Clark the Shark. I like those albums, not so much Black and Blue, but definitely the first 2 with Mick Taylor. And I sometimes wonder what this album might have been like with Mick Ronson, who went a different direction away from Bowie. And, Bowie got Carlos Alomar and people like that. And all these great guitarists, eventually would come and go, Eno and Adrian Belew and various people. But yeah, Somebody Up There Likes Me. I have problems with the song. It's problematic. Not so much the melody, you guys. It's a great potential. There's great things happening in the song, you guys, but it just gets too drawn out and out of control, and like a can of soup that you left out on the you forgot about it. It's out there on the stove all day. It was going to be a delicious soup, and when you first started it at like 11 a.m., then you went and watched TV back in your room, and you're like, oh fuck, I forgot about my Campbell's soup I left out there on the stove. And, at 6 or 7 o'clock, you go out there and it's rotten. And then you turn it on and heat it up and you're like, I can't eat this now. That's like Somebody Up There Likes Me. Something like that, you guys. I'm not sure. But Across the Universe, the cover of the song by Ron Nasty and Dirk McQuickley, really just Ron, wrote Across the Universe for the Ruddles. And it's an amazing song, you guys. It sounded a little dated when it was on Let It Rot 1970 from Ruttlecore. That was the album where everybody was coming down to Ruttlecore, and they were taking whatever they want because Ron Nasty and Yoko Ono were saying, well, everyone can come down, take what you want. We're making a business for people to help themselves, And, oh yeah, we're into electronics, me and Ron. Anyone who wants to come down, Alan Klein is running everything. Yeah, I mean, it's great. Come on down. And then, of course, people came on down and they took everything. Even the kitchen sink. One day, Ron Nasty and Dirk McQuickley, they went into Ruttlecore. And Ron was like, well, they even took the loo. They took the toilet. I wanted to take a shit and I can't, I shat here last week, Paul, Ron, John, here's the thing. You and Yoko, you come in around the recording session, I think it's great when Yoko just leaves, goes in the restroom, it's better, for the band. Oh, Paul, yeah, she wasn't even bothering us. She feels vindicated, the new Let It Be thing came out. Bloody, I never hated Yoko, Ron. I didn't, Here's the thing, I thought she was helpful, in the studio. Oh, I didn't mind her, but I didn't want to, man up to her, get out of here, wench. We're boys, lads working. I wanted Paul. Look, I wanted the Beatles. I wish Epi didn't die. Be like who we were in Hamburg. Get back. We're supposed to make an album where we're getting back. Bloody John, Ron. Here's the thing. I totally agree. I fell in love with Yoko at the sessions, but yeah, she had to go or something, and Across the Universe, what a song, by Ron. I love Across the Universe, you guys. It's incredible. Great song. I love it. And Bowie does a nice version of it here on Young Americans, you guys. And these last two songs, Can You Hear Me? Really good. Bowie with Carlos Alomar and Lennon did Fame, of course. Awesome. Fame is one of the greatest David Bowie songs ever recorded. The whole album, to me, Clark the Shark, it is a classic. It is awesome, David Bowie. But then David Bowie has so many amazing albums. It's hard to put this in the top 10 of David Bowie. You just can't do it, you guys. I'm sorry, right here on the Clark the Shark Show. I wish all of his albums could be in the top 10 of Bowie. But to me, Clark the Shark, there is no top 10 of anything. I love music, you guys. I know that liberals and Democrats try to tell you, people out there, that they're the beautiful people of the earth. They're so open-minded, and they love music. They control everything, the media, the interviews, all the music you hear on the radio, TV, MTV, the news, CNN. Liberals and Democrats want so badly to control everything, you guys. But when you break down these musicians who got signed to record labels like David Bowie, and you get to know them, you find out they're not liberal at all. You find out they're kind of like either a libertarian or a conservative, or who knows what they are. But even when you ask him point blank, like, hey, David Bowie, were you a liberal? He'd be like, no, I wasn't. I don't even know what that means. And, if someone's weird or strange or a nerd or twisted, automatically the liberals and Democrats try to co-opt them and make sure that they are part of the liberal system, the liberal network, you guys, so that all of you young people will be brainwashed into voting liberal Democrat. And the right wing to a degree does this too. Everyone who goes to church, the Catholic faith, or, you go to a Baptist church, well, you're automatically a conservative and a Republican. And Sean Hannity wants you clapping in his audience. He is like his own version of Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong-il. Let's face it, Trump gets along with Kim Jong-un because Trump is kind of a form of Kim Jong-un himself, you guys. You know how the liberals and Democrats are saying he's a fascist, he's a racist, he's all these bad things. They say that mainly because they themselves are fascists and racist. That is the very definition of a liberal Democrat. But they're kind of true and they're kind of right when they say that about Trump and many Republican conservatives. Because when you break it down at the end of it all, anyone who doesn't care about rent being $3,000 a month, doesn't really care about inflation or, cost of living, prices out of control, like Republicans don't care. You guys, I hate to admit it, but they are kind of fascist, racist, and everything that the liberal Democrats say about them, it is true in the end, which doesn't excuse the liberals and Democrats because they are just a different version of a conservative, Bible-thumping Republican. In the end, everyone ends up the same, you guys. It's all a will to power. It's all a pursuit of the white picket fence. But some of us want more than a white picket fence. We want to feather our nest with the goods and the hard labor and the cheap labor of others. And Anderson Pooper, up in Hollywood or wherever he lives, he ends up no different or better than Sean Hannity and Mark Levin. Just because they wave the red, white, and blue, love it or leave it, they and Tucker Carlson and Bill O'Reilly and even me, Clark the Shark, we all end up no better than Bill Maher, you guys, or Alec Baldwin, or any other liberal, Jon Stewart. We're all the same, you guys. If all of us don't care about rent being $3,000 a month, you can't pay your rent, you can't pay your utilities, you can't pay your storage units or your car insurance or your life insurance. It's so bad that many people in America now haven't paid taxes for years to the IRS. State, county, municipal, city, federal, whatever, state taxes. Taxes are suffering right now because rent is so expensive. The cost of living now is so expensive that Republicans Both them and Democrats are becoming tax cheats and tax exiles. They cannot pay their taxes. Everyone is too busy paying an out of control cost of living that existed long before Joe Biden. This was happening during Trump, you guys. He didn't do a lot to curtail this. It began during Barack Obama. I will admit that. But the Republicans in Congress didn't do much to correct the situation. They like the high rent. They like the high cost of the cans of soup, toilet paper, Coca-Cola, eggs, Tide, Clorox, liquid, Dawn soap that you buy at Stater Brothers, Vaughn's, Albertsons, wherever, Rite Aid. I don't care, you guys. The cost of living is high, and David Bowie knew it himself. He sings about it, you guys, all over all his albums in his own twisted, special way. But there's a spoiler alert because there's a bigger God watching all of you. It's me, Clark the Shark, the runner of the simulation here. It's not a simulation, it's a sharkulation. And in my sharkulation, I invented David Bowie to be weird, you guys, because every simulation needs a little weirdness. There's even one on Mars, for the UFOs. They don't know it. I don't run that one. Some other guy does. It might be Elon Musk. I'm not sure. But I know a little weirdness is always good in the land of normalcy. And thank God for David Bowie and young Americans. This fabulous album that I would give a 5, maybe a 4.5, you guys, if it was not all music, Shark Music reviewer. I'd have to give David Bowie, Young Americans, 1975, a great review. And this is the last David Bowie album proper. After this, he would get really weird for many, many albums. And some people think he was trying to not sell, to punish that company, Main Man, that ripped him off. I don't know if I believe that or agree with that. It might or might not be true. Some people think that Low and Heroes and Lodger were albums where Bowie was, like a tax write-off or something. Who knows? Maybe they were or weren't, and he was trying to waste money on Iggy Pop and all that. I don't know, you guys. And they're like, oh, Scary Monsters was a real Bowie album, a real comeback. And then after that, Let's Dance and all that. Yeah, I don't know, you guys. I like this album, though. I like all Bowie albums and Tin Machine. I do, you guys. There is a quality in all of them. I will admit, he has some songs that kind of like that one song on this album, Somebody Up There Likes Me. Bowie gets into trouble later on in his career on albums like Heathen and Hours and others, where he gets these long songs that get all disorganized and they're not verse, chorus, verse, and they get all messed up and people get all confused or, they skip ahead. And that's unfortunate, you guys. Me, Clark the Shark, when I write a song, I try to keep it to 4 minutes or less, unless it's something, where I just got to do shit that's weird. I don't do it very often, though. You guys know when you listen to GE, the Greenhouse Effect, the song Star is pretty long. It has a big intro, kind of written in honor of David Bowie, but, all my other songs like She's a Bitch and It Ain't Easy and a bunch of them are pretty short, you guys, and that's what makes them hits on the internet. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show. And I would love to think I'm as good as David Bowie, but I'm not, you guys, and I never will be. And neither will any of you, because I programmed it that way. I put him above all of us. But he is definitely something to strive for. He is a bar way up there to try to pole vault over if you can, but I bet you can't. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show. And make sure you buy this album tonight at Spotify, Amazon, iTunes. Young Americans by David Bowie. I think it's like his 9th album. I'm not sure, but it's a great album. It's definitely very good, very solid. It could have been better, you guys. It could have, but I still like it exactly as it is. I do. Right here on the Clark the Shark Show, you guys, and make sure you buy it, especially if you're just 18 and you were born in 2005. I'm talking to you, young person. I want you to get into David Bowie, and especially this album, Young Americans. And I'm out of here, people. Peace.